All right, so this could be a fun one, my friends. Worked with a couple last night. We'll call them Jane and Bob up in the upper Midwest. Jane sacrificed her career to raise not one, not two, but three, but four kiddos. Four kiddos. Bob worked, we'll just say he worked for the county. All right, and Bob is 60 years old. Jane's 58. They got only $300,000. How dare they think they can retire? How dare they? And we're going to go into it today and say why that's silly. All right, so can they retire? What do you think is we only got $300,000. Can we retire? I don't know. Why? Because we're missing the only thing that matters. All right, so let's go into this. So we know that Bob is 60, all right? And his PIA for Social Security is roughly $2,100 a month. I think it might be a little bit more than that, but I just can't remember. $2,100 a month. I think we're going to use that. Remember, it's PIA's primary insurance amount. That is the amount he will get at Social Security when he hits his full retirement age, which is 67. All right, so $2,100 at 67. Now, Jane is 58. Jane is 2 years Bob's junior, and much better looking than old Bob, too. But actually, they both look good. They're both in good shape. I think there's some prescription drugs they have to take care of. But other than that, they look like they're healthy. They've raised 4 solid children. All 4 children have married good spouses, lots of grandkids. All the kids are within spitting distance. It's just freaking great, man. I love it. Anyway, so Jane is 50. Now, because she sacrificed her career, this sounds a lot like someone else you know, this guy. Her spousal benefit will be $1,050 when she's 67, right? Now, that won't kick in until, so basically, this won't kick in. I mean, it could. She could take it earlier, but I wouldn't. So when he's 69 and they get both this money right here, it'll be $3,150 a month. All right, we take our trusty calculator right there, and it's funny because we're running some numbers, and I said I couldn't figure out what the math was. I had to get my calculator, and Bob was able to do it. And I said, yeah. I said, they say I'm good with numbers. I'm not good with numbers if I don't have this guy right here. You know what I'm saying? I chuckled at my own joke. All right, so they're gonna get $37,000 in Social Security. Come 69 for Bob, if that makes sense. All right, so the reason I'm pointing that out, that means there's 9 years until that kicks in. Again, Jane could get that when she's 65. It'd be reduced by, what's that, 15% or so. I just want to kind of, we had crunched these numbers because they don't have to make the decision now. What I'm trying to get at is, we're just saying when Bob is 69, they're going to get this right here. So they have 9 years for that, so they get that. Now, don't forget, Bob also worked for the county, so he's got a pension. I think it's like roughly $2,500 a month pension with a 100% survivor benefit too, by the way, which is the way to go. And we times that by 12, and that's $30,000 a year, which kicks in right now. So he's got this right now. And there's a small cost of living adjustment, not much. So when Bob is 69, they're going to have $67,800 a year income. All right, guaranteed. All right, so now we go over here. Let me just, $300,000. They got $300,000 in various accounts. Yeah, all right. All right, so we got we have $300,000 in various accounts. All right, so the question that comes to mind is, Josh, can we retire or should Bob stay his crappy little job? Jane's actually probably going to get a job, working. By the way, I love Canadian oil and gas. Did I wear this 2 days ago, yesterday? I think I did, but I didn't wear that much, so I put it back on. Don't you love Canadian oil and gas? I did wear it yesterday because I already did this. Oh my goodness, you're wearing the same outfit. And I actually did shower. I changed my t-shirt. We always wear t-shirts in the South. I don't know if, I'll just keep going because at least I do. Last thing you want to see a bunch of freaking pits, you know what I'm saying? So we got $300,000. All right, they have $30,000 a year of income until Social Security kicks in, not considering Jane getting a part-time job or Bob, whatever. We're not considering that. So how do we make this work? Because the question that always has to answer is how much do you need? How much you need? And here's where it comes into being. It's interesting. They need $2,500 a month. All right. Why? no mortgage. However, they want $10,000 a year to travel. Bob wants a boat, $30,000. That's a one-time thing. All right, boat for $30,000. All right, so $10,000 a year to travel, boat, and they're going to need health insurance until they hit Medicare. They're going to need health insurance, and the reason is because Jane, I think, has some prescription drugs she needs to make sure insurance covers. She has some kind of agreement with the pharmaceutical company. I don't know how it works, but it's an interesting dynamic how the pharmaceutical company and her have some kind of, I don't want to say agreement, it's not like a contract or anything, but just some subsidies, which is pretty interesting. All right, so they need $2,500 a year, all right, a month, excuse me. That's for basics costs, but we're going to add another travel budget in there. Let's just add another travel, $3,500 when you include travel. And so we're saying, okay, $3,500 of which they're getting $2,500 from pension. So I hear some dogs barking. They need $1,000 a month. All right, can we get that? Well, easy, man. 5% of $300,000. So let's go to 5% of $300,000. Again, this assumes a $833 a month travel budget. No, $1,000 a month travel budget. Yeah, we're assuming $1,000 a month travel budget, which is going to be significantly high. Notice, there's no debt here. All right, now times 5%, and we can even do more than that, which we probably should. It's $15,000 a year. All right, so $15,000 a year is what's that? $15,000 a year divided by 12. Oops, $15,000 a year divided by 12 is $1,250 a month. Minus $1,250 a month, so they're going to have a surplus of $250 just on that alone, at 5% a year on that $300,000. But what about taxes? They're not going to be any taxes. Why? Because this pension right here, $2,500 a month. I mean, it'll be a little bit, not much. Plus this distribution, they have a lot of money in outside taxable accounts. Or tax deferred accounts. So I did tell them, go ahead and take the money from taxable accounts here first. Either way, man, let's just say we got $2,500 in pension. That's $30,000 a year. That's $45,000 a year. Married filing jointly, you're gonna get $28,000 roughly of standard deductions. The tax are freaking nothing. I mean, it's not. It's literally not nothing, but it's very, very little. So I'm not worried about that. What about healthcare? What about healthcare? And I did a video just earlier today. I've come to embrace Obamacare. Well, if you're making less than 400% of the poverty level, which in this case they are, $15,000 distribution, a lot of that is coming from, I told her to take it from pre-tax money just because we want to make sure we're reducing this while we're allowing Social Security to continue to go. We want to have the least amount of money in IRAs when we take Social Security as possible. But let's just say it's 100% taxable, it won't matter. All right, so we got $15,000 here plus $30,000 there. $45,000 is their MAGI, modified adjusted gross income. What does that mean? Well, that means they're well below 400% of poverty level, so they can actually even take more from this if they want. In fact, that's another thing I was thinking about. Once they hit 69, so 9 years from now, $67,000 a year. That's what, $5,500 a month. Right now, I factor about $1,000 for a month for Medicare, give or take, plus their $2,500 they need, so that's be $3,500. And their travel at some point would probably go away. So let's just say they got $5,500 a month of income. They got $3,500 a month for a budget that includes a $1,000 a month travel budget. We'll just say that's other expenses, whatever they want to use it for. They're probably not going to spend $1,000 a month on travel once they're in their mid 70s, but be it as it may. So they got $3,500 a month for budgeting, and we're going to say another $1,000 a month for health for Medicare. That's $4,500 a month. That's probably more than they actually consume. And they got $5,500 guaranteed income coming in. What about inflation? None of this is inflated. It's just not. The expenses aren't inflated. The pension isn't inflated. The Social Security isn't inflated. It's a wash. So you didn't talk to me to adjust for inflation. Well, expenses, healthcare, all that stuff is in today's dollars. Social Security in today's dollars. Social Security gets adjusted for inflation too, by the way. A lot of people think it doesn't. It does. So what about, and where's the kicker? All right, so the kicker here Just boink, the boink, the boink, boink, the boink, the boink, the boink, the boink. Yeah, boink. Man, listen to my quiet dogs. Oh, so quiet, so well trained, so well behaved. Oh yeah, good boys. All right, and guess what? $450,000 home paid for. $450,000 home paid for. Is that a source of income at some point? Sure. On top of that, we got $300,000 in their investment accounts. We just lightly touched on 5% a year. Well, I mean, basically, by the time they hit basically 9 years, all their incomes are going to be needs are going to be met from Social Security and a pension. So they could easily take out more than this if they want. You know, Bob's going to buy a boat, so they can reduce that by $30,000, $270,000. All right, she's going to need another car at some point, so because she drives an older Dodge, 2000 something Dodge. But anyway, he's got a 2017. All right, so he's good for a while. I mean, you just take a loan because you have excess income anyway. But anyway, we don't need just 5% a year from this. Why? Because we're not going to need this for 30 years. I mean, it would be great to have it, but we have other sources of equity in our home. So we could take 6%, 7% a year out, because all we need is basically 10 years. It's really 9 years to cover us until Social Security kicks in. And frankly, they can even wait earlier. They could take it earlier. Jane would just get a reduced amount. The point being here is that with even a smallish pension of $2,500 a month, they can easily retire because they're not going to be making enough to lose Obamacare premiums. They're going to get significant premiums that probably be almost free to them. All right. Part 2 of that is they have no debt, which is huge. Part 3 of that, they don't spend that much, and that's the fun. I'm telling you. Oh, so I tell like you guys are about where I am. About 10. You're 10 years my senior. So I look at me. I don't have a pension. Maybe I'll have more saved up or not. I might have a little bit more equity in my home than $450 because this sucker is well, according to property values is more than that. So if I don't have a pension, I have more equity when I downsize. If that makes sense. So instead of having a pension, I'll buy. Charlotte and I will probably downsize, sell this guy. I think the house is probably worth like $800,000 right now. So we'll sell it for $800,000. I'm just using that for example. I'm going to assume there's no debt, and then we'll buy another house of $400,000, and we'll bank $400,000 on top of whatever we save for the next 10 years. Let's say I have a $400,000 saved by the 10 years from now, plus the $400,000 I have then. I have $800,000. $800,000 at 6% a year. That's $48,000 a year right there before Social Security kicks in. Social Security kicks in, I'll get probably $3,000 a month, and my wife will get $1,500 or so. No debt, no kids on the insurance and stuff. That's what happens, man. I mean, when you live on one income, you inherently don't live above your means to some regard. You're not freaking rolling lighting cigars at $100 bills. You're just not living extravagant, and we do. I mean, my goodness, man, we don't want for anything. That's for sure. So if you want to say that's extravagant, I kind of grant you that. But when you're used to living on not that much, and when you couldn't rub two nickels together when you first got married, I was telling them, I said, I bet you couldn't rub two nickels together when you first got married. They're like, yeah. So that's the way it always is. We don't want to go back, but we can if we need to. You know what I'm saying? We've survived, and you'll survive too. The issue is now you got some equity in your home. You don't have a mortgage. But health insurance, we just talked about it, health insurance. And you can always go and get a part-time job, and she might want to. We're talking about that. Anyway, I hope this helps. But they got a pension and I don't. Okay, well, what else can we do with this? What else? I mean, is there another way to make it work? But we need more income. Okay, if you need more income, we got to work about your scenario. But at the end of the day, we made it happen with these people without even blinking an eye. We know what's going to happen because they just don't spend that much. They have $450,000 of equity in their home. They got when Bob hits 62, he can take a reverse mortgage if he wants. He probably ought to at least get the line of credit started so it start accumulating. But I mean, my goodness, my friends. You can do it. You can do it. You can make it work. But you got to know the number one thing is, what do you spend your money on? How much does it cost? If you don't know that, none of this matters. I can't tell you how many emails I get. Hey, you think I'm okay? I got this, I got that, I got this, I got that. A lot of times I just don't even respond because I don't want to get in a dialogue with people who don't pay for my services, frankly. But I just, unless, because in fact that also means they haven't watched my videos. Because I say, if you don't know your expenses, I don't care. I literally don't care if you don't know your expenses, and I'm just not going to engage with somebody who hasn't taken the time to figure out what their expenses are. It's just not worth it. Not worth my time. Because I'll say, hey, well, I don't know your expenses. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. By then it's too late. I don't have enough time to get it back and forth with somebody who's not prepared, especially if they're not paying me. Anyway, so good stuff. So congrats, Bob and Jane. Enjoy. Stay healthy. Go out there, do some fishing, and get that boat. And we'll see you guys later. Thanks now.